Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say, it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Wednesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Got a great show lined up for you today, a historical show. We'll have JC for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to be joined by Leonard George and Willie Jackson Sr., and also Wayne Fields and Melvin Flournoy. They are starting an endowment in the name of Leonard George and Willie Jackson Sr., the first two African-American athletes to ever play football at the University of Florida. And we're going to talk about some of the things that they went through. And you can donate $1 to it, $5, $100, $1,000, whatever you want to give, and they will have your name on a plaque when this endowment takes place. But it's been a long time coming, and hopefully you'll reach out and help. But in the meantime, we're going to the Titan MR hotline, and we'll be joined by them in about 10 or 15 minutes. JC, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, my man. I remember Willie Jackson Sr. He taught me in 6th grade at Fort Clark Middle School in social studies. Yes, he did. And he was a very disciplinarian type of teacher, and we learned a lot. So that's great. Good show. Good cause. Hope it works out for him.
Yep. So got some news and notes. Gators play today against Vanderbilt. And they got to keep the momentum going. Bama last night wins again. They struggled a little bit, didn't make a lot of shots. They beat Kentucky. LSU wins on the road at A&M. This is phenomenal. Listen to this stat.
Yep.
Texas A&M was ahead like 66-55 with over almost 9 minutes left in the game. A&M didn't score again.
And 23 unanswered went to LSU.
They didn't score a point for the last 8 minutes and 47 seconds of the game. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. 78-66 was the final. And, you know, I just stood there thinking, are they going to score? Are they going to score? What is going on? I watched it, and LSU pulled away. So it was a good night of basketball. That Auburn team is dangerous. Watch out for that kid, Sharif Cooper, I believe. We all know him. Probably the most dynamic player in the league right now, at least one of the most, along with perhaps John Petty and maybe a few others. But Auburn gets a 6-point win at home against Missouri. I thought that was a big win. And Tennessee gets off the schneid with an uninspiring win over Mississippi State by 3. So a good night in SEC basketball, some close games, some surprising outcomes, I think, with the Auburn game over Missouri. But with that player, Cooper, Auburn can be dangerous. They can make –
It doesn't matter. They can't go to the tournament, so –
Well, I know, but they can really make you uncomfortable when they play.
Yeah. Also, Senior Bowl's going on. Gators are out there. We'll talk more about that on Friday. Give a shout out to the Gator golf team. They won the Timuquana Classic over in Jacksonville yesterday to crank up the season. And then today at 3 o'clock, you know what happens at 3 o'clock today? Or maybe it's at 2 o'clock, 2 or 3 o'clock.
Go ahead.
The SEC football schedules are released on the SEC network.
Oh, I will watch that. Yes, I'm glad you reminded me of that because I knew I put a note in there to watch that. I am excited. I think, and I'm pretty sure Alabama will be coming to Florida next year.
Yeah, they are. First of all, refresh me on the release of the schedules. Don't we already know who we're playing?
I know that we know we're playing Alabama. At least I think we know who the out of divisional games are. It's the non-conference games that I think they're going to announce. I wish, I'm pretty sure Alabama's coming here. I'm just about.
No, they are. Yeah. Also, some news that we found out about last night, and I think it's going to be released today. Josh Heupel will be the next head football coach at Tennessee.
That's
Tennessee
a great hire.
Has to pay UCF $6 million in his buyout. But, yeah, it's an offensive guy. They need an offensive guy. They have one of the worst offenses I've ever seen.
I just think it's a great hire. I think Danny White was a great hire. I think they got a guy who's going to take charge. This is a take charge kind of AD. It's his way or the highway. Tennessee needs this. Tennessee has some issues now, with Pruitt in the background and hiring a guy like Danny White who, look, he said when UCF was winning, look at us. And he got them the attention that school normally would not get. And now their football team performed quite admirably to deserve that attention. But Danny White was right there in the media. He's the kind of guy Tennessee needs to jumpstart, to give him a shot in the arm. And I think the hire of Josh Heupel, they're going to have a meeting at 8 o'clock. So like right now. So I think it's great that they're going to hire this guy. I think it's a great hire.
Yeah, don't forget, in about 5 or 6 minutes, we'll be joined by Leonard George and Willie Jackson Sr. talking about the endowment. Yep. First two African-American football players at the University of Florida. I want to get to the comfort temp this day in sports. I think this is interesting, JC. At Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. This month, get a free annual maintenance plan with every residential duct cleaning purchased $199 value. Service department's open 24/7 for your convenience. You know what happened in 1894, JC?
Why don't you fill me in for some reason?
The first college basketball game was played in 1894. The University of Chicago beat the Chicago YMCA 19-11.
How did you pull that up? I mean, really?
Well, you pull up all kinds of stuff, and I pick what I want to talk about.
So you picked that one about the YMCA Chicago. Okay.
Well, everything else was related to hockey and tennis and stuff. But I thought that was interesting. That's the first college basketball game of all time.
Okay.
So my question now is, who becomes the UCF head coach? Do they come take Brian Johnson, the quarterback coach, away from the Gators?
Good job. I think it's a good job for somebody like that. Yeah. I mean, Danny White reminded me, he was the guy who said basically, no, Florida, we're not going to 2-1 home and home with you guys. And I was upset about that at first, thinking, what does UCF have to lose playing at Florida Field twice, in exchange for a game down there? But he wouldn't do it unless Florida went 2-2 with UCF or 1-1. So, I think Tennessee has got a little momentum now behind them. I think it's going to work out pretty well for them. We'll see. It may take a few years, but I do like these people that they have running.
Yeah, it's going to he needs to find some quarterbacks and some skill guys. That kind of stuff.
But that's going to attract those kind of players when they see the coach that's coming there. And I think that kind of player is going to want to play for somebody like him, I would think.
Yeah. Okay, JC, we got about 2 minutes left. We said we were going to start doing our golf picks on Wednesday since the tournament starts tomorrow.
Okay.
I go first.
Yeah. So
I'm going to go ahead first and pick my golfer. We're not going to make this a long, drawn-out thing, so I hope you have done your homework. This is the Peachland Dentistry weekend golf picks. Okay. And it's the Farmers Insurance at Torrey Pines. I'm going with Xander Schauffele.
Oh, shocker. I had no idea you would do that. Well, I'm going to take one of our favorites, yours and mine. I'm going to take Hideki Matsuyama, one of our favorite golfers. I really like him. He's good in the big ones.
Yep. And then my other golfer, I'm taking a young gun. I love his game, Matthew Wolff.
Yeah, of course, Matthew Wolff. Yes. I'm shocked you wouldn't take Brooks Koepka, your favorite golfer, but I'm going to take John Rahm, who I think really plays well out there. I like John Rahm in this tournament. I like Hideki, and I think you've got a couple good ones. We'll see who wins. You finished ahead of me last week. You picked the winner. That was very impressive.
Yes, it was.
Very impressive. Siwoo.
Okay, so before we let you go, tonight, Gators beat Vandy.
Yeah, Gators will win this game, continue the momentum into the weekend. I see them winning by about 12 or 13 points tonight.
Just as long as we don't go 8 minutes and 47 seconds without scoring a point. I don't know how that is. I don't know how that's possible in basketball.
Well, they almost went 7 minutes without scoring at Mississippi State. So, it's true, but it seems to be happening now.
I mean, you would think you could at least get fouled because you're in the bonus and make a free throw.
You get a free throw.
It's phenomenal they went that long without scoring a point.
At home.
Yeah. All right, JC, we'll talk to you on Friday, my man.
You got it.
At Center State Bank, we put business first. We are the largest community bank in the state of Florida. Understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. Center State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations to serve you better. Center State Bank, member FDIC. We're going to take our first time out of the program. We come back. We're going to be joined by Wayne Fields, Melvin Flournoy, talking to Willie Jackson Sr. and Leonard George about the scholarship endowment in their name. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Ribs, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Miapa Latin Cafe, Rap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Dar Shakow Insurance. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click the advertise button or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Thanks so much, Shane. My name is Wayne Fields. I'm a letterman from the University of Florida football program, lettered from 1972 to 1975. And I now have the distinction of introducing the two first African-American players to play at the University of Florida, Leonard George and Willie Jackson. And we also have with us Melvin Flournoy. And we are here today asking for the support to tell you all about an endowment that has been established in Leonard George and Willie Jackson's name that will go toward a scholarship for the University of Florida for a football player. And we thank for all of the Gator fans that are out there. We'd like to thank you all first for watching this show, and thank, of course, Shane for giving us the opportunity to come on and talk about these two gentlemen who the endowment has been named after, and that's Willie Jackson and Leonard George. Guys, how you doing today?
Good, Wayne. Good to see you.
Oh, same here as well. Willie, we'll start with you. You came here in 1969, as well as Leonard, the same time, and you guys got an opportunity to come to a university where there were no other African-American football players. What prepared you, Willie, most of all, for coming to the university before you arrived here?
Well, I was prepared because of the fact that I was familiar with playing with white kids, because in Sarasota, we only had one black school, and in '66, we integrated, and we had to go to one of the white schools, one of the white schools they had there, and I went to Sarasota High. And I guess it struck up some interest from some of the white alumni from the University of Florida that saw me play at Sarasota. But then again, because of the fact that I was I turned 19 before my senior year. I couldn't play my senior year at high school, so they sent me to a prep school. I went to prep school, and that was out of the state. It was at Valley Forge Military Academy in Wayne, Pennsylvania. And so I think this is one of the reasons that helped prepare me for the University of Florida, because of the fact that I left home and I was away from all my rounders and stuff like that. And I learned how to get along. So that was really one of the main reasons why I think that I'll go to the University of Florida, because it didn't I didn't have any prejudice and so forth, because the white that I was associated with, they seemed like just one of the guys. They wanted the best for me. So that was one of the reasons why I think I fitted in well, and I was prepared to go to a major white school.
Leonard, the same question, if you don't mind answering that. Leonard George, you come out of the St. Pete, Tampa area, and you came to the University of Florida also along with Willie. What prepared you to be able to be successful?
I don't think anything you can really do or say can prepare you what you're going to have to deal with, because at this time, you don't know what you have to deal with. But I came back, I was in Tampa, and I went to Jesuit High School. And I started there in 1965. they had only integrated Jesuit High School in 1963. And so when I got there, there was only 3 of them. One admitted in 1963 and another one, the other ones in 1964. And so in 1965, this was at the beginning of, I guess, the integration in the South, part of it. And so when I was over there, I was on only one black on the team. We had ones on there, but they were not on the field. So I had come from a all white private school. And so we, as a team, that was the thing that made it different, because, you know, being able to relate to them and have them relate to me. So the one thing we wanted to do was win a championship, which we were able to do in 1968. Wow. And so that really made a big difference, because I was coming from one environment and going back to the University of Florida was just, you know, was similar in the sense that we had to deal with a lot of, you know, white teammates, but it was not the only thing we had to deal with, because I remember in 1967, when we played for the Assembly final or the state championship, we had to go into Lake City. Do you know where it is?
Yeah, Columbia County. Absolutely.
Man, that place was going to Alabama or Mississippi at that time.
Right.
Because I tell you, when I was on the field, I was the only black on the field, and probably the only one. No, I don't think it was any blacks in the stadium, because at that time, you know, everything was, segregated. So I went up there, and you can imagine all the flags and all the language, that they would use. And so the thing is, it was my coach, Bill Monahan, and also my teammates that, surrounded me, make sure that I didn't have any problem. But what happened is they sent somebody in the game, to get me out. He started a fight with me, trying to pound me out on the field. Wow. And so I was trying to get him off of me and having all this on. And can you imagine what the people in the stand were going through? Because, okay, you got this black over there, and he's fighting against one of my, even though he started it, but that wouldn't make any difference, because, of course, all they see is, and so what happened, we both got put out of the game.
Right.
So if you realize that this is the kind of stuff you're going to have to, put up with, coming
that help prepare you, in other words.
Florida,
right?
But
that happened in high school.
To make you ready, that would.
Right. So that happened in high school to you. Right. When you got to Florida, both Willie and Leonard. Willie, I'll direct this question to you. What did you have to go through coming in as a freshman and then as a sophomore? Who were some of the guys, if you don't mind naming them, who would be able to accept you for your character, but not the color of your skin?
Well, I remember we did a interview, when we first got there. And the guys were saying, well, can you name me some of the players that, you haven't had any problem with, or the ones that have really tried to go out of their way to help you?
Right.
And, I remember me and Willie said, well, I got to say, this was really for the whole team, because it was not just us, me and Willie, going through this. We had a lot of teammates that never been around any blacks at all.
Right.
So they had to be able to support us too as teammates. And so when you look at it, it was really the whole team, because I would be stressed to try to name all of them, but I would say overall that team, when we came in, because when we went back to the homecoming in 2019, all those people, a lot of them were there, and they seemed like they were the same when we met them back in 1969. So I would say that was a real, accomplishment, and besides the things we had to do. And but keep in mind, people were saying, "Well, Ray Graves, what about him? He was the one that signed me and Willie, right, Willie?"
Oh yeah.
And so he was the one that actually, for whatever his other problems might have been, he was the one that signed us. When he came to my house, he went to Willie's place, and he actually signed us for that scholarship.
Right. Well, when Doug Dickey came in 1970, 71, I think it was, he had the ability to be able to determine how he would continue with that trend. And he did a very good job. I want to go to Melvin Flournoy to let everyone know, and if he'll tell everyone exactly why we are here, in addition to making sure that Leonard George and Willie Jackson gets the recognition as being the first two. But an endowment is in their name, and that's why we're here today, to tell the listening audience and those who watch Shane Matthews Podding Up in the Morning exactly why we're here today. Melvin.
How you doing, Wayne and Leonard and Willie, and the audience, people in the audience? One of the things that you need to realize, that this is an endowment that is a very unique endowment. This is funded by former players and fans who are thankful that we have had the honor of knowing Willie and Leonard. This is the whole idea. This is a tribute to them. The scholarship is secondary. What we're trying to do is raise about $250,000, which is going to fund probably a scholarship of about $10,000 to $20,000 a year. So that's our goal, and we're going to do it multiple ways. Number one, we're going to raise the $50,000 amount, which will allow us to name the endowment in their names. So we're going to get the $50,000 pretty soon. We've raised half of that in about a month time, Wayne. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so we are asking for people to make sacrifices. If you can make a large sacrifice, please make a large sacrifice. If you can make a small sacrifice, please make whatever you can do. We ask you to do. The way to fund this scholarship, or to help us fund this scholarship, is make a contribution to the Gator Boosters. The Gator Boosters telephone number that you need to call is 352-692-6023. Again, it's 692-6023. That is a direct line to Miss Garrett. She works in the Gator Booster Club, and she will tell you exactly what you need to do to make a contribution. You can make monthly contributions, or you can make a one-time contribution. I'm not going to get into the website, because the website is about 2 sentences long, and most of us aren't going to write it down. But if you remember this number, 352-692-6023. It doesn't matter how small or how large your contribution is. We appreciate it. Everyone who makes a contribution will have their name on a plaque. At some point in time, we'll recognize everyone. The names will be placed on that plaque in a manner that does not reflect how much money you gave. It just reflects that you did give. And we're not trying to, we could have said we want an endowment of $50,000. The whole idea of this endowment is to honor two trailblazers, two legacy players that we have had the honor of knowing and have had the honor of benefiting from. And so we want to do something big, and we appreciate any assistance you may be able to give us. Wayne, was that enough?
I think that was an excellent instruction on exactly how to make a contribution. As Melvin said, there's no contribution that is too small. There are contributions that you could make to where you can pay monthly. or you can make contributions by making sure you call the Boosters Association. That's Garrett Bell. If someone needs the name that you can call and ask for, always you can call Phil Farr, who's head of the Boosters for the University of Florida. Those names, then the number as well is a good number. Willie Jackson. I want to ask you a quick and personal question. Melvin, you got some more you want to say?
Yeah. The contributions are all tax deductible too. Okay? They're tax deductible. Absolutely. And they go directly to the Boost Club.
All right. Thanks so much. Okay. Willie, you have the distinction, as many other families do, like the McGriff family, like other families, the Gaffney family, that had numerous players from their family attend the University of Florida. But you have two sons who actually have played. What was that like? And that had to be very satisfying to you.
Yes, it was very exhilarating, and because of the fact that, this is what you always want for them, but then again, you don't try to put no pressure on them for them to try to go do the same things you've done. And when they do it, then like you say, that's a very, very exciting thing to have. And like I said, both wore the same number. We all wore the same number, 22.
Terry Jackson, Willie Jackson Jr.
Wore the same number, 22, and they both went on to play professional ball. So that was very, very, very good. So, like you say, it's a family affair. You wanted to keep it going, and that's just something that you always want for your family.
And you also now have a grandson.
Yes,
who's a walk-on at the university, but maybe he can get a scholarship in his granddad's name.
Hopefully this is one of the things that like we can have come out of this thing that's going to be really, really good, because the fact that you say if it's good enough for me to bring somebody else in, it should be good enough for me to bring my own. So again, this is an opportunity for me to say, hey, what about him? Whether he's as good as the others, or maybe I know he'd be able to hold his own. So give him an opportunity, give him a chance. We all had an opportunity. We all had a chance. Like I said, right. Most of the players, that's black players that went to University of Florida, had to start at the bottom. Because it was walk on, or then again they had to try to prove themselves and so forth and so on, until lately, they just go get the number one guys now. But back in the day, you just had to come in and just work your butt off just get there. And that's what most has done. So it's a great opportunity. And like I say, it's very, very exciting and motivating to say that, like you had your kids to do the same thing, and they're doing something good.
Willie Jackson, Leonard George, the endowment is in their name. We are raising money and asking for the listeners and viewers of Shane Pod Up in the Mornings. We would absolutely encourage you to participate. If you're a Gator fan, if you're a former player, be sure to access the numbers that we're asking Shane to put up on the screen when they put this together. And please, if you would, donate to the cause. The endowment is for the Florida Gators, and it's in the name of Willie Jackson and Leonard George. Willie, if you had to identify your most memorable moment being a Gator, tell us about that moment.
Most memorable is, I would say, going to the University of Florida and being able to go and play on the football field, play on the team, and get out there and see all the fans in the stadium. Once you get there and see all the fans out there and say, oh, this is, this is what came to do. This is what I came to see. And I would say this is one of the most exciting things there, to be out there on the field, and also to get a chance to, just as a football, but just at the University of Florida itself, it's just getting to meet the few that was there. Going to Tiger Hall or stuff, and waiting on the outside and class ends, so you can see who was there and where they're from and so forth and so on. So that was really exciting to know that we had some other black students there on campus. And like I said, back in the day, it was very few. It's like I said, when you saw them, you wanted to get to know them and find out what we can do to get together. So that was exciting. But like I said, the most exciting thing was to be able to get on the field, play football, and just having fun. That's what it was all about.
Leonard, you and Willie came in together, and you also had the blessing and the honor and distinction to graduate together. What was that honor like, graduating from the University of Florida?
It was something, I can tell you, because after all the things we had been through, actually, trying to balance all of these stuff, the social issues, the war, trying to make the team, work on your grades and all of this stuff, and we are caught between two worlds, where we're at the beginning of one world and we're trying to go into a new world. And so it's something that when we went through all of this together, all the drama that we had to deal with, all the people that did not want us there. I'm not talking about for people that we knew, but I'm talking about other people that they didn't want us there. So when you look at it, because when we signed in 1968, the university had only started integrating in 1958. So it was only 10 years before, we signed that they at first admitted any black students. Even so, that was the thing. When you think about that we only was 10 years out. And so it was, I think, very important for me and Willie to, to not only to try to blaze a trail, but to do it in the classroom where we would get a chance to get our degree, because that would be the most lasting thing for somebody else coming on to say, well, can you play football? That's good. Can you handle the pressure? Okay, that's good. But can you get your degree? So when we got that and we got on the field, if you don't mind, I'll show the photograph of me, Willie, on the field, for the field. Nobody's in the sand, like usual. And that was the day that me and him got our degrees. And that was the most memorable thing I can think of, because we came there together, we got my thing together, and we got our degrees together. And I would say this is a moment that should inspire somebody that's want to come after us. Get it done.
Yes.
Wayne, what's that end zone is that? That's facing the north end zone. That's amazing.
I have no idea.
It's the north end zone.
That was a long time ago.
When you first told us about that story about you and Willie getting your degree, I mean, that was one of the most inspiring things I've ever heard. It was just amazing.
Yeah, that was good.
Absolutely. And Leonard, you went on to go to the University of Florida Law School, and you graduated, passed the bar, and practiced law. Are you still practicing?
Not right now, but I might get back into it, because I took a break for a while. You're right. I was able to go back in 1978 and get start my law school at University of Florida.
Amen.
And I was able to graduate in 1980. And at that time, I was able to do it. So I had plenty of time I went to Tallahassee and we went some things. I worked with the state for a while. Then I went to Atlanta and I had my own firm. And I did that for 13 years. And I was able to do that. So I would say that that's another thing. So you say that, one thing leads to another. If I didn't get my degree from Florida, then that wouldn't have been possible. And that's another reason why, coming up there, getting my undergraduate degree, and then deciding to go back to law school and going back to University of Florida, that was special.
Willie Jackson, Leonard George. The endowment is in their name. We're here asking that we get support from the viewers of the Shane Matthews Pot Up in the Morning. Thank you so much, guys. We hope that, Melvin, if you could give us one more reminder on exactly how the viewers and the listeners can contribute to the Leonard George Willie Jackson Foundation, the endowment.
Okay, Wayne, thank you very much for this opportunity. Again, we are honored to be able to do this for living legends. A lot of times we have to have people die before we recognize their contributions. Without Leonard,
Hang on, Willie.
Without Willie and
breathing. Hang in there.
When they went to school, there were several things. I mean, kind of like now, you had the war, you had the sexual revolution, you had also integration, desegregation, and without Willie and Leonard, Wayne and I would not have had the opportunity probably to go to the University of Florida and partake of all the benefits that we partake because we are Gators. So the Gator Nation needs to come to our rescue. They need to help us fund this fund. We need to fund this endowment now. And the way to do this is to make whatever contribution you can make. Again, we're not asking for equal contributions. We're asking for equal sacrifices. So we need you to make a sacrifice in the name of Willie and Leonard, two living legends. If you don't mind calling the Gator Boosters office and asking for Garrett Bell. Garrett Bell, she's a Miss Garrett Bell. Her direct number is 352-692-6023. Again, it's 692-6023. It's Garrett Bell. Tell her that Melvin gave you her direct number, and Wayne. And we really appreciate any contribution you can give us. Again, we need you to make a sacrifice so that this endowment can happen. We would like to do this during the spring, where we award the endowment and the scholarship and all that good stuff and have a great time. And at some point in time, we'd like to have golf tournaments and all kinds of great things in Leonard and Willie's name to make certain that our kids and the players, the current players, know that they exist because somebody came before them. So thank you, Wayne, for this opportunity to, again, plug this endowment.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you, Melvin.
You're probably going to mention the how this happened. And I know Wayne didn't want to talk about this, so let me talk about this for a moment.
All right, you go ahead.
Wayne Fields months ago came up to me. I don't know whether I was first or last, but this is the way I'm going to tell it. Hey, we need to do a scholarship. And we need to fund a scholarship. Players need to do it. And I looked at Wayne like, man, I'm taking... Anyway, Wayne went other places. Wayne and I have had been in a locker room since my sophomore year in high school. So I was supportive of the idea, but I didn't it didn't really it didn't motivate me. So Wayne went to Orlando to visit John Williams, and he and John Williams and Jimmy DuBose got this idea that they were going to name this scholarship, form an endowment scholarship in the name of Leonard George and Willie Jackson. And then John said, hey, let's get all the players together and let's get them motivated and let's do something as a group. Well, that became my motivation because I remember vaguely, I'm the youngest here, and I have more gray hair than anybody else. I remember Willie Jackson. I remember Leonard Jackson and Leonard George. And that motivated me to become really excited about this program, this endowment scholarship. And so what I'm saying to you is that Wayne was kind of the motivator, the creator, the originator of this idea. And then Jimmy and John added some meat to it and changed the whole trajectory of it. And so everybody's pretty excited about the fact that we are able to do this, Willie and Leonard, and you all have been role models and for us, and we appreciate the legacy that you've given us both on and off the field.
Thank you so much, Melvin. In addition to some of the people that Melvin mentioned, myself, John Williams, Jimmy Dubose, Lee McGriff has been instrumental in making sure that this takes place. Carlos Alvarez, who was, of course, here during 1969 in the great run under Coach Ray Graves, along with Steve Tannen and Chris Doring, Mark McGriff. We have other guys who are participating. Mark Totten, absolutely. And Don Gaffney, Warren Gaffney, Nat Moore, Hall of Famers, in addition to Jimmy Dubose. These guys are all working hard, contacting fellow teammates, as well as contacting the Gator fans. So please make a contribution. Tribble. Yes, Keith Tribble and numerous. And when we start naming, you have to look down at the list, because we're up to now just around 50 players, former players, who are making sure that this actually, the goal is achieved. And that goal is to raise monies in the name of Leonard George and Willie Jackson, and to make sure that a player receives a scholarship and in their name. It's important to us, and we'd like for you all to be supportive as well. So thank you so much, Shane. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Melvin. Thank you, the Freddie Wiebe Corporation, and we appreciate all your help. Introduced like this. Guys, do you have anything that you'd like to share with the viewing audience on exactly what your experience truly was and what the endowment means to you?
To me, it means a great deal, because like you said, it's good to smell your roses before you go. And this will be an opportunity to show that you have done something, and your contribution is not in vain. And you are a part of something that will, I guess, live on, and also be a reminder that we make a difference in the financial and stability of the major contribution of our athletic venues. We have lost a lot in this thing, or they don't consider the impact that Black players have on the stability of the institution with their finance. And again, without us on the field and doing what we do and recruiting more, I would say, top athletes, then our finance will not be as high, or our goals of being number one will not be realized, because of the fact that we're not there to produce that income. But basically, the thing is, all I'm saying is that we need to continue to stay in the mix, be in communication with everything that's going on, and be a part of, so that we will not be forgotten.
Leonard, if you had to close this out with a statement, what would it be for what the endowment means to you?
What I would like to say is that it means a lot, but it's not just that. If you look at when me and Willie first came in there, in 1968, 69, and look at the teams now, I mean, what a difference it makes. We was on the beginning of this, but we weren't the first to start this. Because if you remember that the endowment means that it's not just us. We get the recognition, but before that, when me and Willie went there, we had, Black athletes. We had Ron Coleman. We had Johnny Brown. They had been there a year before.
Running track.
I know because we get the, football, but I'm talking about all athletes. But it's not that. The endowment shows me that we were part of a wave, but it did not start with us. We were able to be a part of it. But before, like I said, with those guys, we were able to hook up with the first black athletes and the black students. Let's not forget them, because we had a lot to deal with coming up from the University of Florida, and we had a lot of black students at that time, not that many, I think about 300 or more, to deal with them. So that helped make us feel welcome, because we have to have all the things. We would get together, and we were like a family. And we were like a family on the team. So I would say the endowment should represent that we were part of a wave, but it started far before us. Like I said, the university was first integrated in 1958. In April 1968, 8 months before we signed, Dr. King was assassinated.
Right.
So if you look at the whole thing, you got to look at the whole thing. And that is, sometimes we get the recognition, but we forget about who brought us to where we are. And that's what I would have to say.
Well, thank you so much, Leonard. Thank you so much, Willie. I must say that the whole purpose of this endowment is to bring recognition to you two guys, blazing the way for many other athletes that have come that look like you. But the main thing is that this is about economics. Tell me how you all both survived. I won't share mine, but tell me how you all both survived on $15 a month going to college. And then I'll follow that up with another question. Because
hey, look,
go ahead, tell me about that.
It wasn't for some other people, for mom. Hey, my mom kitchen.
Kitchen, yeah. Crystal. Hey,
Crystal. That's another thing. And pizza, Domino's.
Well, let me just tell you this: July 1st of this year, the University of Florida, being in the state of Florida, that there's a statute that says that university athletes all across the state will be able to receive compensation for their likeness and their endorsement and their brand. In other words, they can get paid for representing a company that has services or products for sale. What do you think about that? They now will be compensated.
All I just say is that we came too late. We came too early. We came too early because we could have used some of that in any kind of way.
Hey, Willie,
we could have used some of that.
Willie,
yeah, right.
Willie, guys like me in the trenches would have beat y'all up and taken your money. We would have got no money. So we mugged you in the hallway of Yon Hall, the dungeon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, I think, guys, that we've done we've made a great effort in putting this together. And once again, we'd like to thank Shane for all of his cooperation and getting involved. And Shane, we got to get a contribution from you too, not only with other people being, but we need you to sign on that line.
Right.
But thank you all so much, guys. We appreciate you. Love you very much. You all were why I came to attend the University of Florida as well.
Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate you. And again,
are you through, Wayne?
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Melvin Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Aver and Smith Personal Injury Attorneys, Orange Theory Fitness, and Dowling Signs. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click the advertise button or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. It's at Celebration Points, where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Bass Pro Shop, Nike, Sensei, Prime and Pearl, and opening soon Dave and Buster's, and coming spring of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurs Gridiron Grill and Visors Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. Just really want to thank Wayne Fields and Melvin Flournoy, and of course, Leonard George and Willie Jackson Sr. for doing that. They will be getting my contribution. I just appreciate them allowing us to get it out there to the general public. Feel free to reach out to Gator Boosters if you can. Like you said, whether it's $1, $100, $1,000, whatever you can do, it will help these two gentlemen. What Melvin said was exactly right. Usually they do stuff like this after someone has passed away, but these two guys are still around, and let's see this endowment be filled on behalf of them. Reach out to Gator Boosters. You can call Garrett Bell or Phil Farr, and they will take care of everything you need. Want to announce the winner of our drawing for the Chomp Harder hat. Let me see which one. Chomp Harder hat. I got it on virtual screen, so I got to put it right here. The Chomp Harder hat. Our winner for this week is Robbie Howard. Robbie, our staff will reach out to you and get you your hat. And also tomorrow we'll be drawing to give away the G-Tech 3-pack COVID-19 Survival Protection Kit. So if you haven't signed up for that drawing, do so. Go to potupwithshane.com. Tomorrow's show will be filled with Brent Beard talking college football. He'll be talking about Josh Heupel, I'm sure, going to Tennessee. We'll also have a little high school breakdown, what's going on in high school sports. And then on Friday's program, we're going to have Dr. Kevin Farmer, one of the team orthopedic doctors for the University of Florida. He just came out with a new book. We'll talk with him about injuries here and there. And also JC will be joining us as well. Just want to let you know that at Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. And again, all the information for the endowment is on the website here. You can always just call Gator Boosters and ask for Garrett Bell. And let's get this thing done in honor of Willie Jackson Sr. and Leonard George. Hope you enjoyed today's show. It was a great show. I couldn't have done it any better. And I want to thank Wayne and Melvin for doing that. Again, Gator Boosters office number is 352-692-6023. That's 352-692-6023. Or you can go online at gatorboosters.org. And they'll have all the information there. Best thing to do, I'm not good with all that stuff, so the best thing to do is just pick up the phone and call. Again, congratulations to the Gator golf team for winning the first event of the year at Timaquana, and also the Gators tonight host Vanderbilt. That's a 6:30 start, a little earlier than normal. And then also today, I can't remember if it's at 2 o'clock Eastern or 3 o'clock Eastern, the SEC football schedules will be released. Today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. Be safe out there, folks. Hope you enjoyed today's program. It was awesome, and we will see you tomorrow.